whatever we have inside of us that is disavowed, that goes into the unconscious, can come back exaggerated and can completely possess us. There's a story, it's contested, but it's a nice piece of poetry in the Islamic tradition of the Prophet Muhammad having, in some versions, I think it's the Archangel Gabriel comes down from heaven and opens his back, takes out his heart, and cleans the specks of dirt from his heart. So his heart is said to be completely pure. Yes, there are other versions where it's through his chest, but the first time I heard it was through the back. I thought it's a nice metaphor. It's a nice piece of poetry that points to something that is useful, that there is darkness in the human heart, and we need to be aware of it. And in a space of disavowal, in a space where fantasy is prevalent and we can lean into fantasy, and we're engaging heavily in disavowal, and we're hiding ourselves from the truth, and we're hiding the truth from others. We're in the age of the people who hide the truth, hide it away, hide it in the darkness. And those wounds hidden fester, and the wounds grow. The wounds grow, they don't heal. Those of you who've done BJJ on dirty mats, like I have over the years, will be familiar with this condition. When you get a few scuffs on a mat that hasn't been bleached in a month, you'll develop some nasty rashes. So that's what I think about legitimate suffering and about the ego. When we avoid legitimate suffering, we force ourselves to plunge into fantasy because we're trying to avoid reality, where legitimate suffering comes from. Being plunged in fantasy, being plunged in the deep, dark forest of the unconscious is a space where all the impurities and wounds will fester and will grow. And there's no such thing as a well-formed, strong ego with good boundaries that's formed in darkness, and in the darkness bind them. There's just no way. There's just no way. It can only be formed in light. It can only be formed through honest, open interaction with reality. And that's why, having a strong commitment to being in reality and accepting reality as it is, and to truth, is probably a good starting point. Say, okay, I believe in truth. I believe, as it said in John, can't remember the number, and the truth will set you free. I think that that's completely true. I think it's as true now as it was 2,000 years ago. The truth itself has a healing quality to it. Those who bend it, those who run from it, those who hide from it, it's a sin. That's a sin. I'm not, as I mentioned, religious points here today. I'm not a particularly religious person, but I think that these particular tenets have great value. It goes beyond religion. It goes beyond the need to have faith in something that you can't see and have never seen any evidence of in your life. We can see evidence of this. It's worth believing in. It's worth believing in the idea that the truth will set you free. If you don't believe that, why would anybody bother with psychology? Why would anybody ever bother with psychotherapy or psychoanalysis? If you don't believe fundamentally that the truth will set you free, I don't know, just descend into a fantasy like everybody else. Watch more TV, plunge into social media,